Next up, let's talk about the escalating war of words between Tom Homan and Jasmine Crockett. Crockett has been attacking Homan's capabilities on MSNBC, claiming he doesn't know what he's doing. This is a bizarre strategy, given Homan's extensive background as a Border Patrol agent, investigator, and special agent.
I want to play you a video of Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett talking about your capabilities on MSNBC this weekend.
Again, we have someone who doesn't know what he's doing. And, you know, this idea of, oh, you know you're illegal and then you go out and have a child. It's not quite that simple, especially when you have people that are doing things like seeking asylum and people that are saying, listen, I'm just trying to make sure that I can live a better life.
Doesn't know what he's doing. Tom, just to go through some of your background, a Border Patrol agent, an investigator, a special agent, supervisor, special agent, assistant director of investigations. I mean, the list goes on and on. You are so beyond qualified. What's your response to that?
Well, look, I forgot more about this issue than she'll ever know. I mean, for God's sakes, I've been doing it 34 years. But look, there has been a rude awakening. A rude awakening was in November at the election. There was a rude awakening that American people are sick of an open border. American people are sick of illegal alien crime in this country.
You know, under the Biden administration, over 500,000 children have been trafficked in this country. They lost track of 340,000 of them. And many of these children are going to be in sex trafficking and forced labor. President Trump is committed to finding these children, rescuing these children, because many of them are living a life of hell every day. You know what's heartless is politicians like Crockett and Castro who covered up the open border, who didn't ever speak up about the children of sex trafficking in this country, didn't speak up about the number of aliens that are dying crossing the border. While you and I are talking right now. While we are talking right now, women are being raped by members of the cartels as a part of the fever crossing that border. A child will die tonight on the southern border. That's heartless. And all these people are cowards.
Homan didn't hold back in his response. He said he's forgotten more about this issue than she ever knew, and then went on to Fox News, talking about the tragic situation at the border, stating that over 500,000 children have been trafficked under the Biden administration. He further stated that many of these children are going to be in sex trafficking and forced labor. Homan also said that, while we are talking, there are women being raped by members of the cartels and that a child will die tonight at the southern border and that people like Crockett are cowards for not speaking up about it. Okay, this next story is something that we've been talking about on this channel for a while, and now, the mainstream media is finally starting to admit it. Joe Biden's cognitive decline is undeniable.
One of the things we also do in the year-end correspondence roundtable is dig into what was undercovered or underreported. Jan?
Undercovered, underreported. That would be, to me, Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline that became undeniable in the televised debate.
At the presidential debate with Donald Trump.
Unquestioned. And, you know, it's starting to emerge now that his advisors kind of managed his limitations. It's been reported in the Wall Street Journal for 4 years, and yet he insisted that he could still run for president. We should have much more forcefully questioned whether he was fit for office for another 4 years, which could have led to a primary for the Democrats. It could have changed the scope of the entire election. Yet, still, incredibly, we read in the Washington Post that his advisors are saying that he regrets that he dropped out of the race. You know, that he thinks he could have beaten Trump. And I think that is either delusional or they're gaslighting.
President Biden has said repeatedly he was sick during the debate June 27th in Atlanta, and he's always been fine, and he leaves fine. That is his position, the position of many of his top aides as well, even though there is that reporting.
Robert Cox.
Why would ABC, Disney, the mouse, who has more money than God, settle with Donald Trump?
I honestly don't know.
You know, I've asked, why would ABC? But people ask me all the time, why is the media so mamsy-pamsy? And there are two explanations. One is they are convinced that if they would just move a little bit to the right, all those MAGA readers out there, now you'll notice the contradiction in terms, MAGA readers, would pick up the Washington Post and they would have more readers. What is the logical fallacy here? Yes, reader. And there is nothing that the Washington Post could possibly do that would have those people take out a subscription, but they're convinced they're in there someplace.
During a year-end correspondence roundtable, one of the reporters admitted that Biden's obvious cognitive decline was underreported. They noted that his limitations were being managed by his advisors, which has been reported in the Wall Street Journal for years. They also pointed out that Biden's claim of being sick during the presidential debate is not credible and that they should have more forcefully questioned whether he was fit for office. In a bit of a strange ending to the story, one of the commentators said that Biden regrets dropping out of the race, thinking he could have beaten Trump. Alright, so what are we to make of all of this? Well, it's clear that the political landscape is as turbulent as ever. Trump's endorsement of Johnson is a gamble, and it remains to be seen whether it will pay off. The battle over the border continues to be a flashpoint, and the media is under increasing pressure to report the facts without bias. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think will happen with the speaker vote? Is Johnson the right choice? Do you agree with the media's assessment of Biden? Sound off in the comments below. I want to know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel further, check out the link in the description below. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. This is Themba from Black Coffee Podcast, presenting on behalf of Black Coffee himself.
So what do you think, Scott? Will this Trump endorsement put him over the top?
I hope so, because the longer Republicans engage in this infighting, the longer it's going to be until we get started on Donald Trump's agenda. I think that's why Donald Trump came out for Mike Johnson so strongly. He wants Republicans to set all of this infighting aside and get focused.
We've got Trump making a huge announcement, a fiery debate over the border, and even the mainstream media finally admitting something we've been saying for a long time. Let's get into it.
Focused on passing bills. I think he'd love to sign some bills into law right after he takes the oath of office on January 20th. So if you spend all this time or days fighting over the speaker, you leave less time for getting started on his agenda. So I think it's going to be important.
Do you think, Scott, that the Republican Party can survive another major speakers battle like what happened to McCarthy last year?
I mean, the party can survive it. It's just why do we need to think about having to survive something when we have an obvious option here? Mike Johnson has done a good job. Look, anytime the numbers are this close, it's going to be a very difficult job, and there are things that aren't going to go smoothly every single time, and we just have to accept that. Johnson's done a good job. The president trusts him. The president won the election, and a lot of Republicans won because of Donald Trump and the agenda he put forward. So what Donald Trump is saying is, get me a speaker that I trust and that I can work with so we can begin to pass my agenda. That ought to be a good enough reason for any member of the House Republican Conference. We've got a very closely divided House. The only way to move anything forward here is to have teamwork, to stick together. Republicans need to start that process with the speaker's vote.